Congratulations to the latest podcast evolved book club. I am your host, Krysta, and with me today is David.
Hello.
And Aaron.
Hi, guys.
And this time we're talking about Something Has Happened from Tales from Slipspace. We're doing another comic, okay? Alright, so the title is Something Has Happened. The author is Alex Irvine? No, that's not it.
If it's Irvine, it's not spelled that way in the script.
No, I don't know what that is. Irrive. Thank you, Alex.
I spelled it wrong. It is Irvine.
You're making me look stupid, David.
Chris, just read the script. God damn it.
You spelled it wrong.
You can't prove that.
Yes, I can.
I have it on recording. It's okay.
Alright, the publisher is Dark Horse. Formats available digital and real book. The initial release date was October 25th, 2016, and the print version was November 29th, 2016. It is 22 pages of comic-y goodness. It's set in 2537 on the Spirit of Fire. We start off at the Spirit of Fire, and there are our friendly faces, like Serina, and she is looking at some floody things, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Some really good floody things. So one of the engineering specialists, right? Violetta, she's the one who gets infected?
Yeah, it starts off with this engineering specialist. You said Violetta Maldini, who wakes up at a cryo and has to go around and check out the ship. And it's like, I think they said it's like 6 years since the Halo Wars 1. So this is like a great little in-between story between Halo Wars 1 and 2. And if you watch the legendary ending, it kind of feeds into this, which is pretty cool. So obviously there'll be probably some spoilers for Halo Wars in this, just so people know.
She's looking out, she's looking around doing her engineering thing, and what do you know, there is a flood infection form that click-clacks her and turns her into a flood. She's going around being a flood, and Serina's like, I'm not going to kill her. I'm going to watch her for a while. But little does Serina know, Violetta has a little trick up her sleeve called reproduction, and makes like 1 million more flood forms, and now Serina has a big problem.
Yeah, it's real gross.
Yeah, because now people are going to start getting infected.
Yeah, they really go into detail in this kind of comic about what the flood can do, and like how they go about what they do, and even if you start from 1, how that can quickly get out of control. And it has kind of ties in all the they have the memories, the access to the memories of the humans they infect. So while 1 may appear kind of stupid or docile, it knows like the codes and stuff to get into things and like activate cryo, and that's how it kind of infects other humans which is kind of horrendous. Imagine waking up from cryo and like flood in front of you.
Yeah, and it just click-clacks you.
Click-clack.
Yeah, it does do a very good job at illustrating how one flood spore can become a very big problem very, very quickly. Because Serina's quite mad at this point. She's pretty crazy. She's at the end of her lifespan. She knows she has to go to final dispensation pretty soon, but she's just so enamored with the flood that she starts disregarding protocol, which is a big red flag for AIs. So she's letting this unfold, and finally she's just like, you know what? I gotta wake up a Spartan. So she picks Jerome 092.
No, she doesn't.
She doesn't?
No, she picks Anders and wakes up
she
Ellen
picks Anders. Then Anders wakes him up.
Jerome apparently did it himself. They said he had it set so that on a timer, if Anders wakes up, he wakes up a few minutes later.
Oh, okay.
It's only one quick conversation where it's actually kind of confusing in the panels where Jerome was waking up in terms of who's talking to who. But it's pretty much because I think maybe it's supposed to be like that because Serina is degrading and she's kind of not communicating very, very well. So she kind of wakes up Anders because she knows Anders will help shut her down, and Anders will also know what to do about the flood.
Yeah, it's a little sad to see poor Serina in this state.
It is.
Yeah, it is. It really is. 'Cause she's not doing well. And she knows she's not doing well, so she starts lining stuff up for her final dispensation.
Yeah.
And this is around the time when she's making all those pre-recordings that we see in Halo 2. She kind of records different situations that they might line up in, right? Because she wakes everyone up, doesn't she?
Yeah, that's her recording at the intro cutscene to Halo Wars 2 is believe it's the end of this where she's got all her recordings done.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of cool.
And of course we have Jerome just killing all the Flood.
Yeah, just Jerome going around being a boss.
Yeah, like that's the gist of it. He cleans up by himself and at one point may or may not have been blown into space briefly.
Yeah, but Spartans do that all the time.
Well, that is true. At least he had air with him.
Yeah, of course. Because I think the Mjolnir armor always is collecting extra oxygen when it's
Yeah, I think they say that in Silent Storm. It always has an hour's worth of air and it recharges as you breathe. So as long as you're in an oxygen area, it'll recharge while you breathe. He's usually not too bad, but I like this story. Like, there's not a crazy amount happens. They come out of cryo, they do a little fighting, and then Anders has to put down Serina, which is a little bit sad.
Down, but Anders kind of has a conversation with her.
I do like, though, that we get completion. Do either of you two remember the name of the... Oh no, it was a comic arc in Evolutions, wasn't it? The one about Hood. One of the ones where the Infinity gets shot up again and they're talking about the Spirit of Fire.
Oh,
it's Captain Cutter's... Is it Captain Cutter's
son?
Illegitimate son, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
And Lord Hood helped him up and there was a whole thing, but the final section of that, the final couple of panels of that is the cryo bay on the Spirit of Fire, and there's a warning light flashing, and then you see this one just glimpse of an infection form scuttle by.
That's where that was. I was trying to remember where it came from.
And then we get this story later, so we find out what happened to it and how they weren't all dead by the time they got to the Ark.
Yeah, it's nice to see that. It's nice to know that Flood are still around because they're so important to the Halo universe. I'm not looking forward to fighting them again anytime soon, but we know we're going to. Yeah. Especially with Halo Infinite coming out and them going back to their roots. I feel like it's going to happen. It was also really interesting to see Serina actually looking at the life cycle of the Flood. That's always super interesting. The Flood are literally just a reason to wake up Jerome so that he can go shoot things in this story.
Which is actually an interesting tidbit that I found out, that the battle rifle shouldn't be there because the weapon didn't enter service until late in the Human Covenant War, and even then only in limited numbers, so it shouldn't have been on the Spirit of Fire in UNSC in 2531. Which is weird.
That is weird. Like, Halo Wars and the Spirit of Fire is this weird, entity in the Halo universe that's kind of, it's canon, but it's a weird canon. There's, Flood before we saw Flood on the Halo, and then, the battle rifles and stuff like that.
At least they have an excuse for it in Halo Wars 2 now.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
did a good job.
Although I did like it, but they just basically offloaded everything on, oh no, we have a modern AI now, we can build all this stuff. For being Flood, I'm surprised they didn't just go with the safe choice that was shotgun. Battle rifle seems like a very poor Flood weapon.
Well, if you remember in Halo 3, you could headshot the Flood by shooting them in the red tentacle place, where the red tentacles come out. So I mean, it is an effective weapon, it's just less effective than a shotgun.
It seems like a from-a-distance weapon. I kind of picture Jerome coming out of cryo and being like, we've got Flood, I'll have shotguns, please. He's in a ship, he's not really roaming wide open spaces. I suppose that's my only nitpick with that, is it seems a little weird that would be the choice he makes. Also, in some of these panels, Jerome seems like he's about 35 feet tall.
I noticed that.
Yeah, he's real big in this.
There's some of these when he's beside Anders and he looks like at any moment he might fall over and crush her like a mountain.
So maybe they focus too much on the Spartans' height. They're not... Are you sure Spartans aren't 35 feet tall, though?
I don't know. Well, looking at this, it looks like Anders' face is somewhere roughly in line with Jerome's belly button. Belly
buttons are nice. Well, maybe Anders is just very short.
She looked normal height in the cutscenes. I don't think she's that short. This came out... This did come out in the run-up to Halo Wars 2, didn't it?
2016, yeah.
So I'm surprised that we get old character model Anders and not... She looks very like her Halo Wars 1 Anders and not so much like the Halo Wars 2 Anders.
Well, this story is more in line with the story arc of Halo Wars 1 than Halo Wars 2.
Although at least I like the artwork in this particular comic because you can look at that and go, oh, that is Halo Wars 1 Anders, whereas sometimes you look at the artwork and go like, that may or may not be human. And not in the cool way like the Flood.
I find that certain characters between the comics are hard to identify. Especially some of the Spartans that we don't really see them out of their helmet very often.
Oh yeah.
Like specifically
it does tend to be a problem.
Team, but We'll get into that in a later episode, but
I want to give a shout out to some of these panels with the flood and Viola in particular. It's gruesome.
yes.
Flood are pretty sick looking in this.
Yeah, like some of it's almost very, the movie The Thing. I know The Thing is kind of like the flood anyway, but some of these are giving me very Thing vibes. Some of them look a little more like the regular flood, but I don't know. I like this one. This is good.
It's good. You like it?
Yeah, good story.
All right. Wrap it up,
Action
guys.
packed.
Aaron likes it.
Sad ending. It was good.
Yeah, but I mean, with Serina Serina can't have a happy ending. She's an AI over her life cycle, way over her life cycle, right?
Well, she's not way over. She was due to on her 7th is when she was actually going. So she wasn't over due yet.
It kind of sucks for all these AIs that are stuck in ships that are just floating out in space, because Cortana had that too. Like, for half of their life cycle, they're just floating, just chilling, not doing anything.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer when you think the AI is trapped like that.
Yeah, they really need like an AI stasis button.
Yeah.
Because Serina really needed to be able to shut herself down along with everyone else.
Yeah.
Because, like, Serena's a pretty good character. I like her. Like, she comes off at the beginning very sort of, like, when you first meet her in Halo Wars, she's very, like, blunt and raw and a bit of a dick. But you warm up to her.
You do, yeah.
She's just very dry and sarcastic.
That's kind of the nice thing about AIs, is they don't sugarcoat anything. They're just like, this is what's going on. You better do what you're supposed to do.
I like the different personalities that they give them as well.
And I like that, like, the way this comic finishes, that she wraps up everything with Anders, because, like, when you remember back to the very first, like, the start of Halo Wars, when Anders is on the Spirit of Fire in the observation deck, and she talks with Cutter, and then Cutter leaves, and she turns around to Serina, and she's like, Serina, get out of my office. And she's, like, really sort of, like, they don't like each other at all, but it's kind of nice to see that, like, by the end, Serena's just like, you know, I'll go with you.
Yeah.
Although part of that's to protect Cutter. But she does mention in this somewhere that, like, I couldn't ask him to do this.
Oh.
Now I'm sad. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it ends on a sad note.
So, any other thoughts, feelings, comments?
Nope. Great little story. It's a good intro to Slipspace, and I like how it ties in like that other comic as well, the Evolutions and Halo Wars 1 and 2. Well, it doesn't really factor into 2 that much. It just kind of wraps it up, ready, the Spirit of Fire, ready for the intro of Halo Wars 2.
Yeah, it just ties up the loose ends that we have.
Yeah.
Aaron?
I'm kind of the same. Like, I have no complaints. Like, it's very rare that I have any complaints, that I don't have any complaints. I like the art. I like the story. The only minor niggle is his choice of weapon, but otherwise everything's good.
All right. Then that is our book club for Something Has Happened.
Nailed it, Krysta.
Yep, that's me. Nailing it all at all times. Go check out our website, halopodcastevolved.com. We got a Discord, we got a Facebook, we got other things. I hope you guys are having a great Christmas, and we'll see you next year with some more Evolved. Evolved.
Evolved.
Evolved.